Hey, also, I want to run through some extra examples when we're talking about translating into symbolic form. So I have a few examples for you here that I will go over. So first we want to start with practicing how to determine the hypothesis and the conclusion of a conditional statement. So here I have a conditional statement, if then. So I'm going to color code and say that my blue is my hypothesis. So everything between the words if and then are going to be my hypothesis P. And you could write that out if you want. So the hypothesis is points A, B, and C lie on line L. That's supposed to be an L. So this is my hypothesis. The word if is not included in the hypothesis. The words that come after then are my conclusion, Q. And I'll come back here and write that P is my hypothesis. Um, One way you might remember P is hypothesis, Q is conclusion is there is a P in the word hypothesis. And I don't know, maybe Q can sound similar to C. I'm not sure if that works, but there's a P in hypothesis. Um, in science, you always have a hypothesis and then you come up with a conclusion after you do an experiment. So the conclusion comes at the end. Conclusions usually come at the end anyways, even in English, like when you're reading a story. Uh, Here I have another one. Again, the stuff in between if and then is going to be my hypothesis. So my hypothesis here is an angle has a measure greater than 90. All the words that come after the word then is my conclusion. The angle is obtuse. Remember again, if and then, they're sort of like glue that holds the hypothesis and conclusion together, but they're not part of either of them. I'll do one more with you. The words between if and then, you get 100%. That is my hypothesis. The words after the word then, you will get nay. That is my conclusion. I should have reminded you at the beginning of this that I've posted a PDF of this notebook file. So if you have printing capabilities, you can print this out and just write on that paper. Or you can always just write your answers. Or you can just listen because you'll always have this video available to you. So what I want you to do now is I want you to try this one. I want you to identify or write the hypothesis, identify, and write the conclusion. Take a minute to do that, and then I will go over the answer. So again, just like with the other ones, the words between if and then, two angles form a linear pair. That's my hypothesis. The words after the word then, they are supplementary. That's my conclusion. All right, if you're still stuck with this, there's some practice for you to do, but also you can always send me an email, ask me during class, check me out in office hours. Um, let's make sure we get this part down. All right, so I'm giving you here a statement P and a statement Q, and I want you to use those to translate the symbols into words. So I have a few of those for you. Remember that this symbol is a negation. It changes the meaning of the statement. So Q right now is an angle isn't less than 90. So that little squiggly tells me change the meaning of Q. Make it say the opposite thing. So the opposite of an angle not being less than 90 means that an angle is less than 90. So I'm going to say an angle is less than 90 degrees. This symbol means and then P, there's no negation, it's just P right there, so I just copy an angle is acute. I've translated that symbol using this information for P and Q into words. Let's try another one. This double arrow means if and only if, so that if and only if is going to come between P and not Q. So again, P was an angle is acute. That double arrow means if and only if. And then we have not Q again, so Q was an angle isn't less than 90, not Q is an angle is less than 90. 90 degrees, I should say. Let's try another one. Now we have not P. Not P. That tells me to change the meaning. So P meant an angle is acute. Change the meaning means the angle is not acute. And these three dots, if you remember, mean the word therefore. So we would say therefore, you use a comma usually, an angle is not, or we can say isn't, that's fine, isn't acute. So I want you to go ahead and give this one a try. Oh, actually, I'll do this one with you, then I have one more. Remember that this arrow means if then, so we got to start this with an if. Not P, so not P, we can pull from right up here. An angle isn't acute. Then since we have the arrow, we have that comma then. We've been using not Q now almost the whole time on this page. Not Q was an angle is less than 90. And there we have it. So I do want you to try this last one. I'll go back to the top real quick, and you can see that Q or P is an angle is acute. Q is an angle isn't less than 90. Go ahead and try this one. Pause it. Try this one, and then I'll go over the answer. So P was an angle is acute. That V means or. I remember and or because and you can make look like a capital A, and then or is the other one. An angle is acute or an angle isn't less than 90 degrees. Okay, one more page here. This time I want you to take the words and translate them into symbols. We're using the same P and Q that we did on the last page. So I have this if, then. That means I'm going to have an arrow. An angle is acute. That is P. That's an example of P. An angle is less than 90. That's the opposite of it not being less than 90, so that is not Q. We've been dealing with not Q a lot. Here we have an angle isn't less than 90 or an angle is not acute. So that or tells me I'm going to have a V. An angle isn't less than 90 degrees. That is Q. An angle is not acute. That is an example of the opposite of P, so not P. And we'll just do this one together. Therefore, that's going to be those three dots that look like a triangle. An angle is acute. An angle is acute. That is P. So that's all I have here. If you have questions still about the lesson, about these examples, about the practice I'm asking you to do, make sure you get in touch with me one of three ways: through email, during class, or during office hours. Good luck to you.